still as a statue, yet sharper than a spear. In a single heartbeat, silence explodes. The great blue heron strikes. A master of patience, a predator of precision, this towering bird has ruled North America's wetlands for millions of years. Today, we step into its world, where every ripple hides a secret. Every movement could mean a meal. Stretching nearly 4.5 feet tall, with a wingspan that can sweep 7 feet across the sky, the Great Blue Heron is the largest heron in North America. Cloaked in soft blue-gray feathers with a dagger-like yellow bill, it is both elegant and intimidating. From Canada's boreal lakes to mangrove swamps of the Caribbean, these birds rule the edges of water. They thrive where reeds and cattails sway, where fish stir beneath the surface, and where silence can last for hours. Watch closely. This isn't just a bird of beauty. It's a hunter sculpted by water, light, and time. In the wetlands, patience is not just a virtue. It is survival. The great blue heron has perfected the art of waiting. For long stretches, it stands frozen, neck coiled, eyes sharp, looking more like a weathered branch than a living bird. Fish and frogs drift close, unaware that every heartbeat brings them nearer to danger. This hunting style is called stand and wait. By blending into the landscape, the heron lulls its prey into carelessness. But when stillness is not enough, the bird shifts to the slow walk. Each step is deliberate, toes spreading wide to avoid ripples, legs sliding forward with ghostly grace. It is a predator moving in silence, writing patience into every motion. Such restraint is more than habit. It is efficiency. In shallow water, wasted strikes cost precious energy. The heron hunts to succeed, not to gamble. And when the moment comes, stillness explodes into action. The long neck uncoils like a whip. The dagger bill shoots forward, and in less than 1/10 of a second, the strike is made. One instant, it is a statue. The next, a lightning bolt. Scientists studying these birds have found that patience pays. In some habitats, nearly 7 out of 10 strikes result in a catch. It is a success rate many predators can only dream of, built not on endless speed, but on calculation and discipline. Every part of the heron's body has evolved to serve this strategy. Its tall legs lift it above the water, keeping feathers dry while allowing a perfect angle for striking. Long toes spread across the mud to keep balance and prevent sinking. Its piercing eyes are tuned to notice the flick of a tail beneath the surface, and at the moment of impact, a transparent third eyelid snaps shut, protecting its vision like a diver's mask. Even its posture, the characteristic S-curve of its neck, is a spring loaded with power, ready to release at the slightest chance. When the strike succeeds, the struggle is far from over. A fish thrashes in the heron's bill, scales flashing, water spraying in every direction. But the heron does not panic. It grips tightly, adjusting its hold with careful precision. The weapon that spears prey is also a pair of forceps, designed to clamp and control. Sometimes the bird stabs through the body of its catch. Other times it simply seizes it between the mandibles, letting no chance of escape. Fish form the bulk of this hunter's diet, from small sunfish and perch to larger bass and catfish. But size matters. A fish too wide can block the throat, turning a meal into a mortal risk. That is why the heron practices an age-old ritual. It always swallows headfirst. This maneuver aligns the fins and spines, folding them neatly so they slide down the throat instead of catching on the way. The bird may toss the fish in the air, flip it around with its bill, and only when the prey is perfectly aligned does the swallowing begin. Watching this process is like witnessing a craftsman at work. Deliberate, practiced, flawless. The heron's throat stretches like elastic, accommodating prey that seems impossibly large. A bulge slides down the long neck, and for a moment, the bird seems almost grotesque, its outline warped by the struggling shape inside. But the process rarely fails. Strong muscles push the catch into the stomach, where digestive acids do the rest. Within minutes, the heron returns to its statue-like stance, eyes once again scanning for the next ripple of movement. Though fish dominate its menu, this predator is not limited to them. Frogs, salamanders, snakes, and even small mammals all fall victim to its patience. In rare cases, it has been seen taking down young birds or raiding the nests of ducks, swallowing chicks whole. Such versatility ensures that no opportunity is wasted. In ecosystems where food shifts with the seasons, flexibility is the key to survival. Yet danger lies in ambition. There are stories of herons attempting to swallow prey too large, only to choke. Nature is unforgiving, and every meal carries risk. But the rewards outweigh the dangers. A single large fish can sustain the bird for hours, giving it strength to hunt again when hunger returns. For all its elegance, the act of feeding is raw and primal. There is no finesse in swallowing a writhing snake, no gentleness in gulping down a struggling frog. Yet in these moments, the great blue heron reveals the true cost of patience. Hours of stillness collapse into seconds of violence, followed by the quiet satisfaction of survival. And then, as if nothing happened, it returns to silence. The heron resumes its vigil, calm, composed, timeless. Another fish will swim too close. Another strike will follow. In this endless cycle of waiting, catching, and swallowing, the great blue heron embodies the paradox of nature. Grace built upon hunger. Beauty sharpened into survival. The hunt is not the only voice of the heron. The great blue heron's voice is harsh, guttural, almost prehistoric, a croak that echoes across the marsh like the rasp of an ancient horn. When spring arrives, patience finds a new purpose. The great blue heron turns from solitary hunter to devoted partner and parent. High in the crowns of tall trees, often near water, dozens of these birds gather in noisy colonies called heronries. Here, the sky fills with broad wings, and the air with the crackling of sticks as pairs build their nests together. The nest begins as a loose platform of branches, but season after season it grows, sometimes becoming several feet wide and heavy enough to bend the limbs that support it. Males present twigs as courtship gifts, offering them to females with a snap of the bill, a ritual that strengthens the pair bond. Once the nest is complete, the female lays a clutch of pale blue eggs, usually 3 to 5. Raising young is a test of endurance. Both parents take turns incubating the eggs, standing tall and alert against intruders. When the chicks hatch, blind and helpless, the parents feed them by regurgitating partially digested fish. The demand grows quickly, and soon the adults make endless trips to and from the water, each flight carrying the promise of survival. By 8 weeks, the young stretch their wings on the edge of the nest, clumsy yet determined, before taking their first uncertain flight. The colony is filled with noise and chaos, but it is also filled with life. A new generation of hunters, ready to inherit the marshes. The great blue heron is more than a solitary hunter. It is an architect of balance in the wetlands. By feeding on fish, frogs, snakes, and even rodents. It keeps prey populations in check, preventing any one species from overrunning the marsh. In this way, the heron becomes a silent regulator, ensuring that the ecosystem remains healthy for countless other creatures that share the same waters. Its presence is also a signal of life. Where herons thrive, wetlands are strong, rich with fish and insects, reeds and rushes. They stand as living indicators of water quality, their survival tied directly to the health of rivers, lakes, and coastal estuaries. Yet, like many wild birds, the great blue heron faces threats. Wetland destruction robs it of feeding grounds, while pollution seeps into the waters it depends on. Pesticides and heavy metals can accumulate in its prey, poisoning the hunter that consumes them. Even human disturbance near nesting colonies can cause parents to abandon their young, leaving fragile chicks to perish. And still, resilience shines through. These birds have adapted to city parks and suburban lakes, learning to hunt beside piers, golf courses, and canals. They remind us that wildness can survive even on the edges of our human world, if we allow it. As dusk settles, the great blue heron rises from the marsh, wings stretching wide against the fading light. Its harsh call drifts across the water, a reminder of an ancient presence that has shaped these wetlands for ages. In its patience, we see discipline. In its strike, we see power. And in its silence, we hear the voice of wilderness itself. The heron is more than a hunter. It is a symbol of endurance, a quiet guardian of the waters it calls home. If this journey has moved you, let us know. Subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and walk with us again into the wild.